Stories Podcast, your #1 show for everything guitar.
Hello, guitar geeks. Hello, Dan.
Hello, Andy.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 79. I'm laughing because I was just outside trying to run upstairs and get the book from our guest from today, and I didn't quite make it. I made it like halfway up the stairs and realized I'm never going to make it back in time. So I ran back empty-handed with a waste of time.
Oh, wow, you could have completely put me on the spot without, being back on time.
Yeah, just an empty chair spinning slowly in the wind.
Yeah.
I wish it was windy here. Man, it is so hot.
Same here.
Is it hot where you are?
I'm melting. I mean, this is the showroom here. It's all aluminum, and we have the lights and everything. It's crazy. You can probably tell. It's like I'm sweating, and it's wow. It's good that we don't have smell stream.
No, definitely not. So we got Zachary Adkins on the show today. I'm not sure if it's Zach or Zachary, and we'll ask him in a little bit. But I always wanted to be called Zachary. I think I mentioned that on the show before. If I could pick my own name, it would have been Zach.
Okay.
So I'm a little bit jealous and upset already. So he's super cool. Let's say hello to the people in the chat. We've got Valeria, we've got Gary, we've got Sarang, we've got Michael, and we've got Chris. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's the last one in season 3 as well.
That is correct.
Not the last one ever. Don't panic, everyone. Just the last one in season 3. We're going to take a little holiday break, and we'll do some stuff at Gear Street. Dare I say, the finest guitar event to happen this year.
Probably one of the few events to happen this year.
One of the few events to happen this year, with all us guitar gear YouTubers together, making videos just for you. And
you can. By the way, you can let us know if you want to see some kind of instruments there. Let us know, especially Aidan stuff. Comment below if you want to see something there. Maybe I can make it happen.
Yeah, I'd like to see. I'd like to have a peer, please.
I totally get it. When you're among so many Ibanez fans, there's some sort of peer pressure.
Oh dear.
Too
Dan
bad.
coming forth with the gems tonight. Right, that's enough of that. Moving on swiftly. Guitar news. Let's talk first about the giveaway that I'm doing on the channel with Fender, if I may.
Yes.
Fender wrote to me and said, Andy, we like what you're doing. We like the people that watch your channel. We'd like to give them a Meteora. And I said, wow, I think they might like that. So I made a video and showed you the Meteora and linked you to a page where you could win a Meteora just by signing up to my mailing list. So if you want to do that, I am sure one of our moderators will put that link in the chat right now. And if you're listening to the audio version, all you really have to do is go to theguitargeek.net, and there is a link there, and you can find out how to win a Meteora. However, Dan, doing this giveaway has cost me hours and hours and hours of my life, and I have learned so much.
Can you fill us in what you learned, especially with regard to some people that might want to use that in an illegal way?
Yeah. I've had multiple scams running on the giveaway. Number one, two styles of scams, and then multiple scams within a scam style.
Oh, wow.
So, firstly, so my mum's in the chat. She says, sorry, we didn't call you Zach. Hello, Mum.
Where is she?
There. Oh. Yeah, well, you should be sorry, Mother. You should be. I'm going to get told off so bad now. Don't tell me off, Mum. I love you. Yeah, so there are multiple scams running. One of the main one is the YouTube scam where a fake account comments, you are the winner of this giveaway. Please text me on WhatsApp or Telegram or whichever one of the methods they're using for that particular scam, and I will, we'll get this guitar to you. And some people, 5 people so far, have sent money to these scammers, and I've calculated about $300 has been lost. Because what they do is they get you to, first they pretend to be me, and then they get you to share the shipment, so what the postage cost. So what you have to do is send them $50, and that's them pretending to be me. And fake Andy is saying, "Oh, Fender are going to give the guitar, but you need to pay the postage, or we'll share the postage. I'll pay half and you pay half." So you send them $50, and then it just goes into the wind. And that is happening on most of the channels that I'm seeing on YouTube at the moment, on the guitar channels. And I even block them via blocking certain keywords, and they're getting around it, and I have no idea how. So YouTube really need to up their game. So as a warning, I will never ask you to contact me via WhatsApp or Telegram, ever, ever. I've got a video coming out on it because I am currently, Dan. I communicated with the Telegram scammer, and they think that I don't know what's going on.
Oh wow!
So
Okay.
I just thought I'd put an informative video together about what happens and what to do and what not to do and how they're trying to scam it. So. I've given away most of the information now, but yeah, I just don't want anyone to be scammed at my expense.
Yeah.
The second scam is that one guy signed up to the mailing list with 1,500 emails, and I've had to spend my time deleting those.
Ay.
He's created some kind of script that has allowed him to enter and I've even put some gatekeeping stuff on it, and he's still super cool at coding. Some computer genius is using it for evil. So that's the second type of scam. But yeah, it's been a lot of work, but I've learned a lot, so now I'm a better person for it. So I'm not going to complain.
How's the feedback so far for the competition?
Great. I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to give too much away. But the live stream in 2 days, if you're watching this live on Thursday, we will give away the guitar live on the stream.
Sweet.
And maybe if Dan's around, he can jump in as well. Just say hello, on his phone. Hello, Andy. Send me a guitar, please.
I did not participate. Just to, for the record, to set things straight.
I will say that I recognized a few email addresses from people that I don't think should have participated, but they did. I'm not going to call them out, but they did.
Hey, what's up, Mark Agnesi? You've got enough guitars at home. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, let's do some more news before we get our guest in. Dan, what is the piece of news we were talking about before the show?
That Mark Agnesi joke was a cracker. We've been talking about about Joni Mitchell performing a surprise show at Newport Folk Festival. That's a tongue twister.
Yep. Easy for you to say.
So I think after almost 20 years or so, she finally returned to stage, and she did not just return to stage. She sang and she played a Parker Fly electric guitar.
I have a photo.
How cool! How cool is that? So the photo is courtesy of New York Times. Nina Westerfeld is the photographer who shot that amazing shot. And how cool is that, right? That's so cool.
But I assume it's because it's got the piezo pickup. I assume.
Yeah.
Because I don't see any pickups on there. I love the Parker Fly. I would love to have a Parker Fly. But apparently they're actually pretty good instruments. Never played one.
Yeah, they're lightweight.
I think I might have played one. Whatever it was, I don't remember it. But yeah, I want one. But now they're super expensive. But yeah, Joni Mitchell playing a Parker Fly. Amazing.
Yeah, and the performances, they were great as well. I mean, she was sitting there with that big band, and I think she had an aneurysm in her chair. I mean, she had an aneurysm in 2015. I think there was a lot of press already going on with her telling how she kind of had to relearn everything, like from scratch, and watching her own performances on YouTube to kind of figure out what she was playing, what she was singing, and the lyrics and everything. So it's great to see her being back in the game and actually being ready to perform, even while sitting. I mean, that's pretty cool. And I saw a lot of posts with people actually crying over the performances. So she still has it, touching people.
I can't listen to both sides now. I first heard it in the film Love Actually, which is one of my favourite films. And that whole scene, if you haven't seen Love Actually, there's a scene in which it's quite heartbreaking. And then that both sides now is just, it just breaks me. And then this version that she sang this week is just another level of I can't listen to it. So if you're even slightly emotional right now, never go and listen to that live performance. But if you want something to rip apart your solid exterior and get inside yourself emotionally, then you're gonna have a listen to that. Yeah, it's a beautiful piece of music and a beautiful performance.
And don't ever. I mean, the takeaway from the movie is don't ever just, give your wife a CD as a present for Christmas. Make sure to give her a nice necklace as well.
True, especially if Mr. Bean is the one to try and pack it for you.
One of the most hilarious scenes ever. That's just.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole movie is so iconic. It's like Home Alone, Love Actually. That's the must-sees prior to Christmas.
Yeah, and also, manly films like
Die Hard.
Gunshooter 4 and
Die Hard is
People in the
Christmas.
Face 12.
What?
I'm just trying to be manly.
I mean, Die Hard is a Christmas movie as well.
It's non-debatable. Non-debatable.
Correct.
Right, let's go back to our chat just to see how it's going over there before we bring Zachary in. I'm basically just checking to see if my mum sent me any more messages. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, people in the chat, please look after my mum for me. And I will also recommend that she doesn't type anything too revealing about me. She's got some great stories. Right, our guest this week, Dan.
Yes.
Give him a nice little introduction, if you will.
I will. 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were lucky enough to host Aidan Fisher, who played the Master of Puppets solo scene in Stranger Things. And he revealed that one of his guitar teachers, and probably the most influential, was a gentleman called Zachary Adkins. And he also pointed out that Zach is an author of a guitar book, and we kind of, did some research on it and found out that it's one of the best sold and highest ranked guitar books online, called Guitar Efficiency. Andy bought it. I don't know how much time you spent already digging into the book, but
I'll let you know.
We can talk about later. Yeah, and we kind of discovered what a gem that gentleman named Zachary is. And actually, it was I was 2 years old when I learned that he was the winner of the 2017 Ibanez Flying Fingers shred competition. I had no idea. So
also today years old. I've just learned that right now.
Yeah. So, and he's a guitar teacher, great shredder, author, and probably a very influential instructor online and offline. So we're happy to have him on the show and talk about how to play faster, what kind of tips he can give us, even for the more advanced players, how to grow as a player. And we can probably also talk about the book and his new album. So there's plenty of ground to cover.
Okay, then please welcome to the show, Zachary Adkins. Hello, Zachary.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It's all good. It's all good.
See if I can get centered here.
Yeah, it's quite hard to do. It's you think you're in the middle and then you're not in the middle. But welcome to the show. Thank you for giving us your time and joining us on the Guitar Stories podcast.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. It's really cool.
Also, thanks for writing the book. I have it. I'd love to tell you that I finished it, but I haven't. I've barely started. But there's some great exercises in there, and we can go into that in a little bit, and I'm sure people have some questions for you. But firstly, I tend to buy guitar books a lot, and I rarely dip in and out often because I'm so busy, and then I buy another one. It's worse than pedals. But I have a special place in my practice schedule for yours because I think it's going to have some stuff in that I don't currently have in my other practice regime. So
yeah. I mean, that was the goal. Was I own, so just to back up on the book, like I own 2 music schools, and we got like over 400 some students right now between me and my team. And I teach guitar, and that's it. I don't teach any other instruments because I'm not good at them. And I had a bunch of stuff that I would constantly have to write out, in like tabs for all my students. And I just got really, like, I didn't want to do that all the time because I teach the same stuff over and over, because I don't really teach beginners anymore. Mm-hmm. And so I just started tabbing them out in Guitar Pro so I could send them to people. And then I had this big collection of like ideas and licks and, whatever else that I had exercise wise. And my wife is a graphic artist, and she's a book designer and whatever you want to call it. Like, she puts them all together and puts them out for different artists and authors. And so I asked her if she would help me put it all together. So she did. And And then I just kept adding more and more. So there's like 160 pages of exercises and stuff. So
Wow. Did
So we
she
make
did she
cameras.
give you a discount or did she overcharge you or?
oh no, she didn't charge me at all.
Ah,
So no,
sweet, sweet.
no.
Bad business, but sweet.
Yeah, it's all right.
So,
We pay the bills, so it's
Yeah.
all good.
oh, that's good.
Of
That's
course.
good. Then that's
She
sort of
actually, I make her
zero
run
to
my
angst.
other. I make her run my other studio, so she makes money there. Put her
Okay.
to
There we
work.
go.
So no,
Cool.
it's all good,
Um,
but it's great.
Good. Well, do you want to just shout out her name so we can say hi?
Yeah, her name's Alicia, and last name's Adkins as well. So I
Alicia.
don't know
Hey,
if she's
Alicia.
watching, but yeah.
Hello,
So she's really good. She does all the stuff for me. You know, she does all the graphics and all the.
Sweet.
You know, like she made this shirt for my band that I'm in, like a System of a Down tribute band, Chop Suey.
All right.
Nice.
So we make our own custom stuff, and but anyway, so I did have a copy of my book. So my book, Guitar Efficiency, uh, it's something that I always liked to have journals or success books and stuff like that, and there was always a section where you could write your goals. And
right.
I've never seen a guitar book with that, where it actually had like, what did you do this week? What could you do better? What were you successful at? And I wanted to make sure that there was something in there. So there's one for every single week in the book. And it's supposed to be like, if you give it to a student as well, they can write in it and kind of put their comments for what they struggled with. But the book is broken down into 7 chapters, one per day, supposed to be. Most people can't get through one right away, which is fine because I think the first one is just chromatic and it's 30 pages, and the goal is to where 7 chapters, 7 days, every day you do one chapter, and if you did it to the BPM exactly without messing up, it'll take you a half hour every day.
All right. Okay.
That's the goal. But if you can't do that, that's totally fine. Take on one chapter and use that for a couple of weeks until you master it, and then move on to the next one. So that's the goal anyway.
Sweet.
And what kind of level, in case anyone's interested, what kind of level should you come into this book at?
Definitely intermediate. It's not beginner friendly at all.
Right.
I do have a beginner book, which I don't know where it is, that I'm working on. Actually, I have it right here. So this is the guitar. This is the proof. So it's got like the strip across it, but this would be the Guitar Efficiency Beginner Guide.
Oh wow.
So,
when will this be out?
I just got this proof in, so I wanted to double check it, make sure there wasn't a bunch of mistakes and stuff. But I mean, it goes all the way back to the beginning where, guitar anatomy, where it takes you through all the different things that are on the guitar and reading chord charts.
Okay.
And it's very, very beginner friendly. And then on the back is a whole thing of chords.
Nice.
So that way you can have, I'm trying to opposite. So I'm trying to make sure that all the chords that I use or that you will use in most beginner songs are there. And we're just fixing up a couple things in it. A couple things were misspelled, the typical things. And then it's about 100, no, not even that many. It's 100 pages basically, exactly. And but that's the beginner version. So hopefully that will do just as well, if not better, because more beginners, I think, are looking than, so.
But I think it's great that you split those two because as I've said, I've bought a few books. I bought too many books, to be honest. But I don't like having to read through, like just skipping 20 pages because I know the anatomy of a guitar, for example.
Right.
So I think it's great that you split those two up. And I didn't have any of that in the book that I bought from you, the original Guitar Efficiency.
Well, good. Hey, I did something right.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Perfect.
But I'll be honest. I like to buy the beginners books as well, just to see what I've missed, because obviously I have holes in my knowledge. I'm like, oh, okay, I missed that. But
Yeah.
maybe I can skip that this time. But good luck with it with the new one. That sounds great.
Yeah. Hopefully it goes well. And yeah. Trying to think if there's anything else there. I didn't know. I mean, the Guitar Efficiency is intermediate to advanced, so it's not like I really need to come out with anything. I had thought about like a 2.0 version where it's just more exercises, but I mean, I'm selling quite a few of these books, at least for me, that seems like enough, but I'll definitely try to sell more. So.
Yeah, I mean, Aidan was really waxing lyrical about it. He was really happy with what you're doing. So
yeah,
and
Aidan's
that's why
amazing.
you're here. So Yeah, he was a really
Aidan,
nice guy. Really enjoyed talking to him.
yeah, when I first started, when I was in my house, because now I have two schools and they're separate, and but I was just in my house, and he came, and his dad was like, "Well, he wants to learn this, this, and that," and I was like, "Man, I don't know how young this kid is, or whatever." These are pretty difficult songs. And I don't even remember what they were. One was like a Black Label Society song, and
All right.
I was like, I thought this guy was supposed to be like a kid, but then he shows up, and he was like 13 at the time, maybe, and he was already just killing it. And
All
I
right.
mean, there was still a lot that we could learn and do better, but he was
Sure.
already on his way. And I knew, right, just meeting him, I was like, this kid's got this like obsessive compulsive desire to be good at the guitar, and
Sweet.
here he is. So really proud of him, and his family's all cool. I mean, I'm friends with all of them on Facebook, and we all chat all the time. And,
Cool.
That's great.
but he just decided, I think they moved or something, and that's why they couldn't take lessons anymore. But moving obviously helped him because he got the opportunities that he did. So
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, he seems.
I didn't even know he was still using my book. I mean, I knew I had given him one, but when he said it on your guys' stuff and on the interview that he did for Stranger Things too, I was like, oh wow, hey. So, and then I saw 5 sales come in from Germany, and I was like, what?
Ah.
Oh,
Nice.
One of those was me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thanks for that.
I don't know who
Yeah.
else.
We're going to talk about some gear in a moment. Is it Zachary or Zach to come up?
But,
you
like technically
prefer-
my business name is Zachary, but you can call me Zach if you want.
Sweet.
It's all the same.
I don't
But
know.
that's my professional name, I guess.
Zachary. You
And
may
you-
have heard that I've always wanted to be called Zachary, and it's because
You're still
of the,
fantasizing.
I still am.
Yeah.
Still slightly upset that I wasn't involved in the conversation and decision. But
My dad was going to name me Dexter, and my
Wow.
mom put a stop to that real quick.
That's also cool. That's
Sweet.
also cool.
Yeah. Dexter.
I thought
I'd
it
have
was
been
cool.
happy with Dexter.
Dexter.
Yeah.
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 Do you remember the game Zach McCracken?
No.
There was a
I don't know
point and
what
click
that is.
adventure called Zach McCracken, and
Oh, really?
yeah,
That was-
I've never heard of it.
Very early, like 80s. Was that mid 80s?
it's got to be late 80s, early 90s. I don't know.
I-
I really don't know.
I wasn't born yet, so I don't know.
Well,
Right.
it's a very nerdy
88.
point and click about
Yeah.
about aliens invading the planet. You have to walk around and click and solve puzzles, and
That sounds cool.
it really is. And it's got this kind of off the wall humor, which I really enjoy.
Mm.
So
I'll have to check
Yeah.
it out.
I recommend it, and you can be yourself in the game, Zachary.
Yay.
Zach McCracken
Yeah.
and the Alien Mindbenders, I believe was the
Yeah.
title. Right. We're going to talk some gear. We didn't really warn you about this, Zachary, so you've got some gear with you, I believe, that you're going to talk about. But we picked 3 pieces of gear that's been released in the sort of last 7 days that's made us excited. Or if you've got some gear that's excited you recently, that we can pick that. Little rant before we go on. There's not much gear being released. Not much
That's
coming
right.
out at all in the guitar world,
Yep.
and it's upsetting me.
But
That's
here's the
what I do
thing:
with my life.
you can basically tell that still the supplies the levels are not yet where they used to be, and you see new stuff that's being released or officially unveiled, and then you've got delivery times like June 23 or something.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, how much can you pour out without actually having stock or being able to produce that stuff? So I think every company has to take it slow at the moment and see how much quantity factories actually can churn out. So yeah, but it's a little bit frustrating because usually that's one of the most interesting sections when you were browsing through the internet and kind of figuring out what was going on, and now it's pouring in like one news every other day or so.
I just remember
Yeah.
last year, we'd have to pick a piece of gear for the week, and there'd be like 4 things that I'd have to choose from, and I would have to genuinely have trouble deciding which one, and sometimes I'd choose 2. And now it's hard to even find one. One that excites me. I mean, there is gear being released, but not stuff that really.
The one that kind of, I don't know if it was the new Ernie Ball guitar, and I can't remember what it was called. It looks really weird, and I think it was designed with Tozen Abazi, and
Yeah, the Kaizen.
yeah, the Kaizen. That
Yeah.
I don't know if I like it or not yet. I haven't made a full decision, but it's like that was probably the only piece of gear that like stood out to me that's new.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you usually check new gear on the pertinent websites like Guitar World or Gear News?
Can you still see me?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
am I
Yeah.
frozen? Okay.
No,
Nope,
you're
you're good.
moving around like a
Okay.
marionette.
My computer's being weird.
Okay.
It's like never mind.
It's
If
not
if
you.
I
It's the
drop
show.
out, I'll come
We're a
back.
cursed show. Yeah, we're a cursed show. Don't worry about it.
Fair.
It's all part. Danny, you frozen now, or you just sit? Oh, okay, you were just winding me up then. You naughty boy. Naughty boy.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Then it is this time. I think I went first last week. So Dan, let's have Dan's. No, I went second last week. So I'm going to go first this week.
All right. Cool.
With my pick of the week.
Andy's pick of the week.
Yeah, that happened. My picks of the week have been getting increasingly more expensive by the week. I've been choosing extremely expensive pedals, and I've stood by them and I've justified them. This week, I've gone way over the top with something that genuinely excited me. That's the rule. But it is mind-blowingly expensive at 50,000 American dollars.
Give me a break.
However, it is for a good cause. The thing that I've
Okay.
chosen this week is made by a friend of the show, Ron Thorne at Fender. And it is the Otto's Moonbass bass. So not only is it $55,000, it's a bass guitar.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the money will be funding music education programs for elementary and middle school students in Los Angeles. So it's going to a good cause. So it's not something you just buy. It's a whole load of stuff was made by Fender for this, and it's all Minions and Illumination related. But there's Ron there, and if you're seeing this on the video version, you'll notice that the bass that Ron is holding is just the centerpiece. So if you're not seeing it, it's just the neck, and then about just slightly wider than a neck's width of bass.
Looks
And,
like those cigar box guitars.
Yeah. So what you've got is you can actually take the bass to pieces, and all the sort of imagine a P bass, all the corners come off, and they sort of slots out and slot back in again. I think it's brilliant fun.
Yeah.
That looks sweet.
Yeah. I mean, I love Minions, and I quite like bass guitars if I'm honest. But yeah, there it is.
It's a pretty cool concept. Really cool.
Yeah,
we
so
should
55,000, please.
I've seen this. I saw this guy on TikTok has like the pickups in the middle of the guitar. You can take it out like a piece of Lego and then put in a different thing, and it'll be a bunch of different pickups. And then you just take them out and put more pickups in, so you can change it out at any time. I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know if he's selling it.
There's a few guitar brands that do stuff like that, but I think it's great. I think it's super interesting. I don't know how. I think the point I've had this discussion with Henning, and that is that by doing that, you're taking away the opportunity to buy a new guitar, which some people that is a joy. So yeah,
I
there's
suppose.
a downside.
Yeah.
I suppose,
I don't know.
but I mean, go buy another guitar anyway. Like,
Yeah, buy the guitar and the pickups.
I have
But-
60 guitars. I don't care.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's
Okay,
not me.
we need to talk about that in a moment.
Yep. That's an addiction we got to address.
It's
Of
a lot.
course.
Yeah, you've come to the wrong place if you want a cure.
I always tell people that because I'll have parents ask me, like, do you think we should get, my kid another guitar? And I was like, I'm the wrong person to ask because I will always tell you yes.
Yeah. So,
Because there's always something cool that you can find, and there's always a way to justify it, I think.
Definitely.
of course.
Definitely.
And there are
100%.
many worse things you can buy for money.
Yeah. Hey,
Right.
drugs, right?
And if you,
Yeah.
exactly.
Too broke for drugs.
Exactly. That's the cure.
Yeah. Yeah, make
Some
sure your kids
guitars-
are into guitar so they have no money to buy drugs.
Exactly.
That's the solution. That's a good one. Excellent.
Well, sometimes you can even buy guitars or gear that actually appreciates in value as well. So it could even be seen as an investment.
That's what I tell my wife.
It's what we all tell them. I'm trying to segue into Dan's pick of the week, so that's my pick of the week.
Yeah, shall we just quickly add that there are three more guitars. So apart from the bass,
sure.
there's also a master built acoustic for 70 grand. There's King Bob, a ukulele by Dennis Galushka for 50 grand, and there is the Strato Stewart, built by Kyle McMillan for 48 grand. And we quickly touched base on this before the show. While I think these price tags are completely ridiculous, I would love to see Squire versions, like simplified versions of these instruments, like a Hello Kitty-esque version of this, because I think the Minions, they have such a wide fan base, and it would be just pretty cool to have instruments that kind of appeal to the super young people and to the fans. You know, there are some adults that are into Minions as well, right? Banana.
Definitely. Yeah, I'd love to see Squire versions. If they've got the licensing already, then why not push it a little further? There's all the guitars. I managed to get a screenshot. So
Oh yeah,
that's
lovely.
cool.
yeah, I really dig the Kevin one, but I had to choose the bass because of the sort of Lego aspect of it. Yeah, by the way, we're also streaming on your channel, aren't we, Zachary? You added us to your channel. So for the first time ever, we're streaming on 2 YouTube channels at the same time. Many people have tried to do this, and no one's ever succeeded. And you, my friend,
Really?
have done it. Yeah.
That was pretty easy. I just clicked go, and it was like, okay.
I don't want to offend our previous guests, but I'm also pretty sure it was fairly easy.
Yeah.
So, Andy, I'm surprised you didn't pick the Fender Japan traditional 60s Jazzmaster, the Jazz Blaster that got released a couple days ago.
I was answering the challenge honestly. The Minions bass guitar made me go, wow.
Okay.
So it was the one that excited me most. But yeah, I would have normally, had that not been there, I would have gone for the Jazzmaster.
Yep.
Jazz Blaster, sorry.
Jazz Blaster, yeah.
I'm excited about what Dan's going to pick.
Dance, pick up the week. Dance, pick up the week.
Yay.
Oh, I like that.
Andy did that. That's great. That's a great song. Yeah.
I'm relaxed now.
I still don't have it on my phone. I need that when someone calls me.
Send me the right amount of money, I'll send it to you.
All right. PayPal. All right, yeah. So my pick of the week, surprise pick probably, but I was completely floored when I saw it. Fender released a, let's say, iteration of the George Harrison Rocky Stratocaster that has been designed for the mere mortals, and I think this is a made in Mexico version of it. Comes with with the fluorescent Dayglow paint, alder body, which I always find pretty important for a snappy tone. 7.5-inch radius, a rosewood fretboard, I guess. And they are saying that these guitars are all hand painted.
Oh wow!
And this is something. I mean, of course, it's a made in Mexico Stratocaster that clocks in at around $2,000, but still, for a hand painted instrument, I think it's a pretty cool run of 1,000 instruments in total. So yeah, it even got the Grimwood sticker replica on the back of the headstock. So it's a pretty cool guitar. And as we've been talking about like gear investment, to me that was one of those guitars, like the Blink 182 Fender Tom DeLonge Strats that got released 20 years ago. Stuff like this appreciates in value pretty quickly. So yeah, that's probably a good investment. And if you're a Beatles fan, it's a no-brainer anyways. So I picked that, and I like the Dayglow colors. I think that's just rad.
Yeah, that's really pretty.
I was surprised that you were talking about it today because it got released. I got a newsletter from Klangfarbe in Vienna. They've got one, and I genuinely have considered and am still considering buying it. I don't.
Okay.
I mean, I know I'm in the wrong place for this. I don't need it, and I can't justify the purchase apart from what you've just said about appreciation in price. And there's only 1,000 being made, and I love the Beatles, and I'm in a 60s rock blues band, so I could actually use it.
Yeah.
The 7.25-inch radius, though, is a downside. If it had 9.5, I'd be in there as a player, but right now I might just be there as a appreciator. I don't know.
Let me quickly add, it's still in stock at the Klangfarbe. So
I know. I've got it open on the tab right now.
Here's the thing, you know, in our realms, it's kind of hard. And whenever I tell Andy about a guitar, Zach, it's like, okay, should I buy it? And you know, he always replies, yes, of course. It's like, right, you know,
Smart. He's looking out for you.
yeah, he's a good
care about
friend.
you.
Yeah, of
Care
course,
about you.
of course,
Cares about your mental health,
of course. Yeah,
not your
if you've got as
financial
far-
health.
His financial health is fine, Zachary. Don't worry.
Okay, well, good.
The thing is, if you got to the point of asking yourself or asking someone else, should I buy this guitar? All you're looking for that point is justification. You've kind of already made the decision.
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah.
One of my my other teachers here, he got the new Cutlass from Ernie Ball, the Jason Richardson one.
Ooh,
And it's the white one with like the kind of sparkles. That's a really nice guitar, I guess. It's new, isn't it?
yeah, definitely.
Well, then there you
Yeah.
go. That's my pick, I guess. I don't get a cool song, but it was a cool guitar. It plays really well, you know. I mean, because I've played some Majesties and I've played a bunch of other Ernie Ball stuff, but that one's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fret access to the 24, and it's really cool guitar. So I guess that's my pick.
Sweet. That's also well deserved. I mean, Jason Richardson has been knocking it out of the park with his Luke Holland collaborations, and you know, there's some Polyphia collabs as well. I think he's really making the move to you know, because with Music Man they have the old heroes like Steve Morse, who by the way just stepped down from being part of the Deep Purple band, which is super sad. So
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, and they have Luke, they have Albert Lee, and they have Petrucci, but Petrucci is already like the youngest guy from that realm, and now they come with St. Vincent and the Mariposa, and the Jason Richardsons, and this is like the next generation. It's pretty cool to see them kind of moving forward and moving into like the next century, basically. Yeah. So,
Yeah. I like
Did
them.
you say
They're
the
great.
white one, Zachary? Sorry, the white one.
Yeah, it was the white one. Yeah,
This one?
that's it. It's the 7-string version, but yeah, his was.
Okay.
It's still
Darn
cool.
yeah. It looks a little bit like the Buckethead Les Paul, right? Just needs some red
True.
knobs.
True. Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
I like where,
That's killer.
especially on these, I like where they have the truss rod access right there at where the pickups are, so you don't have to even mess with a truss rod cover and getting the screws out and losing the screws and losing the cover, and like it's just such an old technology. I think the truss rod covers, I don't really care for them.
Yeah.
I agree.
Now this-
The wheel is the most superior thing that we have.
And I also, if you look at it, because it's up on screen anyway, like right where he has the pickup selector, the switch is like in the perfect spot for me. You know, a lot of people that's like way too far back, and I can't even like reach it while I'm playing quickly. You know, all those little things I think matter.
Of course.
So that here, so it's right like in between the two pickups.
Yeah, just that little switch there. Because if it were me and I had my own signature guitar, which would be sick, I would only have the 3-way switch. I wouldn't have a volume or tone knob on my guitars at all. I don't use them.
You're just wide open all the time?
Yep, all the time.
Wow.
I don't know why I've decided that. I think it's because, like, especially on like the when I was playing the Majesties, every time I would switch between pickups, I would end up hitting the volume knob and it would cut the frequency down by at least 50% because I would always bump it. And it's like, then I'm playing, I'm like, why do I sound like crap? You know, and then it's like, oh, it's because I literally switched down on the volume. If I did have a volume, it would be like way out of the way. Way on, like on the
in
back
the
of
next
guitar.
room or something.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, I'm trying to figure out where I want to go for, you know, a guitar endorsement and, you know, who's accepting people, because a lot of places don't. I'm really looking at like Kiesel, you know, I'm a big fan of their instruments. But it's like you got to find somebody who's wanting to do, like, for me, 7 strings that aren't just like a 6-string version or a 7-string version of their 6-string models. I want something that's like it was meant to be a 7-string guitar. You know what I mean? It's meant to be playable that way. And there's been a lot of times where I pick up a 7-string guitar from a company that really doesn't do it, and it's like, it's kind of weird. It doesn't have that feel that I like. So
Apart from the shape, what would your preference be like in terms of the wood and the pickups? Do you have any kind of preferences or any kind of experiences where you say, okay, this is something that worked for me in the past and this is something that didn't?
I really like the zebra wood for the fretboard. I think that looks really cool. And as far as like the wood for the guitar, I really like ash. Sometimes that's hard to come by because of the ash burr, like that bug or whatever that kills all the ash trees. So I'd probably go with alder, if anything. And then I like roasted maple necks. Those are really nice. They don't bow as bad. I would love to have one. I had the Ormsby RC1 guitar. I had 2 of those, and those have 27 frets. I really liked that. And they had the scalloped fretboard from the 12th fret up to the 27th. It was like partially scalloped though, just on the high strings, so that was really nice. So I'd probably go with something like that. I don't really care for the fan frets. I don't really care for multi-scale guitars. I really just like the straight frets. Obviously a 7-string.
Are you playing standard tuning then?
No, I play D standard with a drop G if I'm on 7-string.
Oh wow, okay.
Yep, at least for this album. It's just heavy, and a lot of them, actually it's funny, like I have all these guitars, but I ended up recording everything on my like $200 Ibanez, so 7-string, because it just had the best tone. It was really cool. And then not all the solos though, just the rhythms, and then the solos I did on the RG or the J Custom.
All right.
Which was the $200 Ibanez? I need to know. We need to be specific here.
It's the 7321, I think. I got it right here. It was this guy right here.
So is that a Geo?
No, it's the RG.
That should be
7321.
7321 should be a Geo.
Yep. Got all the tape on the back to keep the springs quiet.
Yeah.
And this one's actually something that I modified myself. Notice the 7-string sits on its own, and the 6 are on a trem. I had a local guy do that for me. So only the 6 strings will be manipulated by the trem. The 7th string is off. And I'm trying to find somebody who wants to manufacture this for me, but nobody seems to be interested. So, and I don't know why, because you could have an 8-string guitar with the 2, 7, and 8 hanging out with the 6 on the trem. So if anybody wants to, manufacture that, that'd be great, because I would love to have that. And the reason why I did that was because anytime I use a 7 or 8 string and I use the Floyd or any kind of trem system, it's so heavy because of those thick strings, especially in drop G, and then you'd be in like, I don't even know what that would be, like a friggin' B again, but it's like this feels just like a regular 6 trem. So that's why I did that. Of course, now it's all blocked off because I don't use it for anything. I use it for rhythms only.
That's a great idea, Zachary.
I know. And everybody's like, yeah, I don't really see a utility for that. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Huh, that's interesting.
Even just the fact that low string stays constant when you do use the trem, that's a musical thing that you could really use for keeping that low notes standard.
Hey, that's what I'm saying.
Dan, as our resident Ibanez representative, why, what, how, where, when?
Actually, I was just looking up because there were several versions of the 7321. So the version that Zach has is definitely not a Geo version; it's a regular version that's been built from like from the early 2000s until 2012, 2013 ish. And I was looking for the hardware, and it has a original fixed bridge in the first place, and then a Gibraltar standard bridge. But developing hardware is one of the most expensive parts of the guitar, because you need to kind of design and redesign basically everything, and it's super costly. If every iteration is super costly, so I think a lot of companies shy away and actually are more prone to using stock parts, and coming up with for instance with the AZ tremolo that has a more narrow string spacing. That is expensive. Right, so usually companies kind of collaborate. So Ibanez does it with Goto, and other companies they also do it with like the traditional manufacturers, and it's just just the casting molds itself, they cost a fortune, and if you have like a minor thing that needs to be addressed, you do the whole thing again, and then people scream, okay, now we want a left-hand version of it, so you got to
left-handed version, yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but I like the idea. I like the idea.
get
I
it.
totally love it. I think it's your construction has not just some good functional idea. I think it also has a musical value to it. if you can use the bass strings and kind of keep the chuck going whilst you are still using the flurry side of the trem, I think this is a pretty interesting idea. Yeah.
Correct.
That's,
I mean,
that's what
and
I'm
I would
seeing.
like, I would like to have it to where you could connect the 7 back on and use it, or you could disconnect it so then only the 6.
Nice.
So I've got all these different ideas, but like you said, it is expensive, and people have to be like, this is something new being added to the market. Are people going to accept it? Is it worth putting in the money, or are people not going to care? So it's like, I don't know. How do you go about it? But speaking of the, I think at the beginning, I don't know if I was on yet or not, but you had mentioned that I got the 2017 Flying Fingers thing. So this is the guitar for that, which is a super cool piece of gear. The J Custom. And they only made, I think, like 20 of them, if I remember right, something like that.
Okay.
And this is the one that they sent me, and it's really cool, really pretty, all the way around.
That was for being first place. So that has been gifted to you.
Correct. Yeah, I got it. I won this one in 2017.
Wow. I mean, look at the back. It's got a figured back. That's rather rare.
Everything about this guitar is awesome. I mean, it's got obviously like the Tree of Life and everything, which is cool. It looks great on video. I do wish it was a 7-string, but that's okay. I won't complain or nothing. But I can't even remember all the specs on it. I've had it since then, but this is the one I've did all the recording with on the album that I'm working on. It just has such a great tone, and you can flip to the middle pickup. You got the single coil, and it just has a really nice, pretty tone when you're doing clean, or if you're doing some kind of like, softer run. And the neck is so thin, except for on the back. I've got a couple of dings right here because my cat's knocked it down and smacked on one of the tables, and I was like, oh my God. But I don't plan on selling it, so I don't really care. But
Your ex-cats.
My ex-cats, yeah. But this is probably the most important piece of gear that I own, from just winning it, A, and then B, it's just playability, and the cost of it, I'm sure, was expensive. I don't even remember how much it was new, but really cool guitar.
Yeah, and well deserved. I mean, your entry was phenomenal.
Oh, did you watch it?
Yeah, prior to the show, I just figured out that you won it. So I still vividly remember preparing the contest. I think Kiko was one of the artists that got involved, and a few others. So that was pretty interesting to see the rollout and see the entries coming, and But I had no clue it was you.
It's me. Paul Gilbert was the judge, and
there you go. Yeah,
Paul Gilbert was the one that he did like a video, and he learned the lick that I had created, one of them that I had created, and he said it was really cool, and that was kind of interesting. But I never got endorsed by Ibanez, which I guess was supposed to be part of like the thing. Like if you win, there was a potential endorsement that they would give you, and whether it's probably more just like an artist deal, I assume, but still would have been cool. But they never called me, so it's what it is.
Yep,
it's all good.
These things happen.
It's all right,
guys. We're going to upset a lot of people if we don't buy, borrow, or burn a gear picks.
All right.
Do we need to recap we play a little game called Buy, Borrow, or Burn, and what we do is we have to pick the 3 picks that we picked. So I think, Zachary, you've actually picked about 3 pieces of gear, but you're going to go with the Ernie Ball, right?
The Cutlass.
The Cutlass, yeah?
I'll go with the Cutlass. That's cool.
Okay. So therefore, we have 3 pieces of gear: the Ernie Ball Cutlass, the Rocky Strat, and the Otto's Moonbase bass. Those 2 from Fender. And we play a game called Buy, Borrow, or Burn, where you have to decide to buy one of those pieces of gear, to borrow one of those pieces of gear, and to burn one of those pieces of gear. So if there were 3 the room with you right now, we also go to the live chat and see what they're going to do. And if you're playing at home, listening to this at some point in your car, you can just shout them out, and we'll hear you through the universe. So let's go to the live chat first. Perfecto de Castro, hello. He would buy everything.
That doesn't count.
That doesn't count. I very clearly and concisely explained the rules, and Perfecto de Castro has fallen at the first hurdle. Dear. Right. In that case, Michael will burn the well-constructed Music Man. Sorry, but contenders were stronger for consolidation. I got your book. That's someone that bought your book, Michael. So he's one of the ones that went to Germany. Hey, Michael, nice to have you on the show. Buy the 2K Mexican Fender and borrow the Moon Minion bass. Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's pretty fair. Melogify? I can't remember what he said last week. Buy the Cutlass J Custom. That's not on offer. Burn the bass. Borrow the Ibanez J Custom. That's not on offer.
Yeah, hey.
People don't know how to play the flipping game. Right. Troy, buy the Cutlass. We've got a Cutlass purchaser. Borrow the bass and never disassemble it, and burn the Strat.
I've been being burned tonight, boys.
Okay,
Damn.
Josh is going to buy the Rocky, borrow the Cutlass, burn the bass. Not doing well of late. Gary O'Neill will buy the Rocky, borrow the Cutlass, also burn the bass. Okay, that seems to be a popular selection. Studio Himil, who has all your bass needs, will buy the Strat, borrow the bass, burn the mismatched headstock guitar.
Oh, I don't disagree with that.
What did I miss something?
The
What's
mismatched.
mismatched?
There's 4 and 2 instead of 3 and 3.
All right, okay.
I like that.
It's definitely unique, but that was something that I was always a little bit bugged by. But I've gotten more accustomed to it, especially when you do 7. You're going to have 3 and 4, so
Sure.
it's fine. It's fine. But
I
they
can
actually
see
do
the one
5
that
and
upsets
2.
you.
They do 5
5 and 2.
Yeah, so they
Well, I
don't
like
do-
it from a structural point of view. It makes sense. Like, rather than having all 6 on one side, I like the 4 and 2. But
It's fair.
who am I to decide? Sarang would buy Zach's RG7321, borrow the Minion bass and burn the Strat. Perfecto de Castro says, change the rules. We shall not change the rules. Rules are made for a reason, not to be bent or broken. And one more. Cranar would burn the bass, and Fender can just give 50 grand to charity and be done with it. That's interesting. Borrow the Ernie Ball and buy the Rocky Strat. See, guys, what I'm taking from this is that I should go to Vienna and buy the Rocky Strat.
So that
for
basically makes me the winner of this week's competition. Is that correct?
Well, we have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Zachary, we normally guess for each other. Do you want to take a guess? You've known us now for I don't know, 53 minutes.
I have to guess what you guys would
Yeah.
buy.
Yeah, you
borrow,
can
or
guess
burn.
for one of us. You can guess for one
Yeah.
of us. Bearing in
And
mind
we
that
go around circles then. Yeah.
yeah. So do you want to guess for Dan?
Well, I'd say that probably for Dan, it would be you would buy the bass, borrow the Cutlass, and burn the Strat.
Not
Nope.
quite. Not quite.
Dang.
Nope. I like the bass, but not for 50K.
Is that USD or is that another price?
Yeah, it's USD.
Oh my god!
It's not Hungarian forint or something.
I would borrow
unfortunately.
it and pawn it.
Yeah.
That's not part of the rules.
No, unfortunately not. I mean, if we can go that far, I would probably choose your 30th anniversary J Custom over a lot of other things because that's a lovely guitar.
Rules, gentlemen, rules.
Oh, come on, give me a break.
This
By the
guitar
way,
breaks those rules, dude. It's so good.
It does, and you know what? While Andy has the Klangfarbe link still open on his screen, I was actually checking out if there are still some RG30 JC LTDs available, and I found an Italian shop that still has this guitar on sale. Come on, give me a break. My wife's going to kill me.
How much? Is it? How much do they want?
It's like I said, they have it on sale. I think they are asking for 3.7K.
I think that's an acceptable price.
But not if you work for the brand and you could have bought it for much less
Yeah.
in first place.
So Dan, what would you choose? What would you buy?
Okay,
What would you borrow?
all
What
right.
would you burn?
All right, we stick to the rules. I focus. Okay.
just
I
briefly.
would burn the bass because I see no value in that. I would borrow the Cutlass because I think Music Man is doing a great job. I'm not 100% sold on the white, to be honest. I think, for instance, the Pia, the Stallion white one, is a little bit more what appeals to me because it looks more classy, and that white of the Cutlass is, I don't know, a little bit off to my eyes, but still a super cool guitar. And I'll buy the Rocky because I think it's a great investment, and it's a guitar that's like a piece of art, and you could actually, it would look beautifully in your background, Andy.
Okay. So does that mean, Dan, you now guess for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go on then, sir. Guess for me, sir.
You would borrow the bass, because you're a bass player, and it's probably it's got super cool functions, but you don't need it. You would burn the Cutlass because you already are throwing an eye on the Pia, if I'm not wrong, and you would buy the Rocky, and you will buy the Rocky tomorrow at
You will
Klangfarbe.
buy the Rocky.
He's out of words.
All right. I would definitely, but I would. There's a clause there. I would definitely buy the Rocky if this game were real. I am slightly conflicted between the other two.
Okay.
I like the Ernie Ball, but I'd probably rather borrow the bass. So I would borrow the bass and I'd burn the Ernie Ball. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Zachary. I just want to borrow that bass. I just want to take it apart and then put it back together again, and then I'm done with it.
That's fair.
Yeah. But that's the rules. That's the rules. I have to burn something. Sorry. But I would buy the Fender Rocky Strat. I would buy it if it were available. Yeah. Okay, then I'm going to guess for you, Zachary. I'm going to guess that you would buy the Ernie Ball, borrow the Rocky, and burn the bass.
Yes. Because I don't play bass.
Sweet.
Now,
Champion.
of course, I do think that the bass has a cool story, and like people would look at it, and that would be the most interesting to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So if I was going for that reason, I would keep the bass and I would burn the Cutlass because the other two definitely have better stories. But the Cutlass I would buy for functionality purposes.
Yeah. Can we make a point that the Rocky Strat is also a superb conversation piece?
Yes. Well, that's what I was saying. They both have the bass and the Rocky have really good stories attached to them.
Yeah,
They look
yeah.
cool, and you know, most normal people would be like, "Oh, I love that," and that would be something to talk about. But I don't like talking to people, so I don't. I'd rather just keep the Cutlass anyway.
All right.
What I'd quite like to do is I'd like to play the bass on stage,
Mhm.
and then have the music the stripper play, and then slowly take the pieces off the bass and just be left with that centerpiece. And I think that'd be really fun as part of a stage show.
That's not a bad
Bass
one.
bass strip. Nice one.
Click, unclick, click. Yeah, I think that'd be fun. I don't know if it's possible structurally, but I'd like to do it. However, I will say that I did I put my hand around the neck and strummed the strings of the $25,000 Rocky Strat, the original one they did that's actually from Custom Shop. And that was something else. That the attention to detail on that was amazing. Like truly the nail polish on the headstock and all that stuff. That was something else, but 25 grand. So buying the Rocky Mexican version will always I've played the original, so yeah, but I still love it.
You haven't played it. It might be a great guitar as well. Yeah.
True. All right. Maybe we should move on. Maybe we should actually get into the main chat with Zachary and find out about his album and find out about
Can
all
I please make a point? Give me a
What?
second.
Go on.
The Rocky has been sold on Thomann throughout the last 20 minutes or so. It's so funny.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Well, as long as they use my affiliate link, I don't care.
Yeah.
Checking my emails. Who was it? Which one of you did it?
It's good. It's good for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's upsetting because well, that means I have to go to Vienna. That's fine. I'm fine with that. I don't mind. Right. Yeah. So Tolman have sold their Rocky. That means there's 999 left, and one of them's in Vienna. And technically, I shouldn't be talking about it anymore because someone might buy it.
Right.
Let's move on. Move on.
All right.
Quickly.
Can we talk guitars?
Let's talk guitars. Let's talk Zachary Adkins' guitar story. So,
Yeah.
fill us in, Zachary. How long have you been playing guitar? What was your inspiration? Tell us that first genesis moment of guitar playing for you.
So I'm 30 now. I started when I was 12. So what is that, 18 years? So I started because my dad plays guitar, and he had a bunch of guitars laying around, and he wouldn't really want me to play them. So he just bought me one. And it was like a little Fender Strat, Squire. And my brother got a drum set, so we would just jam all the time,
Sweet.
And my dad is just an old 80s rocker type, so he loves, George Lynch and Randy Rhoads, Eddie Van Halen, all that stuff. So he already had posters all over the house and guitars everywhere. So it was just probably ingrained in my life that I was going to become a guitar player. My whole family plays guitar, and I just kind of took it, I guess, a little bit further than they did.
Sweet. What was some of the first songs that you learned or you jammed to?
Wow.
The first, probably a lot of Kiss. That's like my favorite band, and a lot of like System of a Down. Hence why I'm in like a tribute band for System of a Down, and a lot of Ozzy, because Ozzy was like, especially the Blizzard of Oz, Diary of a Madman stuff. I really enjoyed that. So that's what really brought that kind of image, I suppose. Like you see Ozzy on stage and you're just like, that's sick. So that was a lot of learning that stuff. And then it got a little bit more as I was getting better and better. You start finding new bands. And then I started getting into like Trivium and Avenged Sevenfold and basically like the 2006 era of music, that would have been like 14. Then it was, I don't know if it was my ADD or what it was, but I just wanted to keep going more and more down that path. So I got into like Jeff Loomis a lot. Like I listened to his first album like a million times, and like the Conquering Dystopia that he did with Keith Merrow, and Ron Jarzombek from Spastic Inc. And it's like all of these really progressive, fast, clean players, So I just started emulating them and playing as quickly as I could. And Dream Theater, obviously, too. That's kind of a big one. So then I stopped playing for like a year because I was trying to like figure out how to make money and like live, So I started working at freaking Walmart, So, and that was fine. I was making decent money there, but it was just depressing because I wasn't playing at all.
Sure.
So I took like a whole year off, and then then I started getting back into playing, and I've just been working on an album for like the last 5 years, trying to do something, and I hate everything that I do, and then like the mix is never good and this isn't good. So then I tried to now I got to focus on getting better at the recording and mixing and mastering. So there's always something new to do, Then 2017, I was like selling cars, and that was fine. That was actually a good experience because I got to learn how to sell and how to like market and do that kind of stuff. But then that 2017 is when that Flying Fingers thing happened, and I didn't expect to win necessarily. I mean, I went into it hoping that I would, but I just put out whatever I put out, and I had like a crappy camera, and just wasn't a very good experience to record because I had no idea what I was doing. Then I won, and then I had like 8 people from my local town that were like, "Hey man, I want to take guitar lessons because we saw you." And I started thinking like, man, I hate selling cars. Like it was fine, it paid the bills, but I didn't love it. You know what I mean? And I was like, I wonder if I can take this marketing and salesmanship and put that into guitar lessons and try to grow it from there. So that's pretty much what I've done for like the last 5 years, is just play guitar, record stuff, and then take more and more students. And now we're at like 400 some. And
That is amazing. Yeah.
And
And I mean, with as a guitar player, you have also been affected by the pandemic. Has that shifted that now you're doing online lessons only, or do you still have like people actually physically coming to your place and you sit together face to face?
I do like one online lesson.
Okay.
I think out of the 400, I think maybe 5 of them are online. The rest are all in person.
Wow. Okay.
Because we actually, I started in my house, had a few people, moved up. Then I got like a drum instructor and a piano instructor, and we just kept growing. And then some of those people left, and we got more people, and now we've got like a really good crew. And music lessons is something that, like, although you can push it online, and I think there's some benefits there for sure. A lot of people really do enjoy coming in and being with somebody, sitting. Even when we had the option of, hey, you want to go online, it's a little safer, so you're not coming in and potentially getting sick or whatever. People still wanted to come in, and we had people still pay for lessons even though they didn't want to take them during the pandemic. Like, it was that to them.
Wow.
It was really, and they didn't have a camera, but they still paid. It was really cool. So we really, we dropped a little bit in 2020 when like things really started getting weird. But then it was kind of like this down period where I was in another building and I really wanted to move, and my lease was up, and I didn't want to sign another year or 2 or 3. So I started looking, and then they all told me I was like insane for looking during the middle of a pandemic. Like, we don't even know what the hell's going on. And I said, I didn't care. So then I found a place, we got in there, and then we did really well. We went from like, we doubled our students in 1 year after the pandemic stopped. Or not stopped, but, had kind of dropped down a bit. And then just in March of this year, 2022, or I should say January, I guess, I was looking at another place here because I don't know, you guys aren't from America, I assume, right?
Nope.
Okay.
Where are you right now, by the way?
I'm in Nebraska, which
Nebraska.
is just corn and cows, But there's there's a little sub city around us, and that's kind of a little bit higher up in the like demographic for income and stuff like that. And a lot of them were saying they wanted to have a music lesson thing, so they didn't have to drive into the big city to like get lessons. And so we put one out there, and then since March till now, we're already at 200 students.
Wow.
So. And I don't teach any of them, to me, I've backed off teaching. I only teach 3 days a week now.
Okay.
So really cool. It's been a really great experience, and I want to open up a third one probably next year. We've already looking at some spots. I just figured, to me, if I want to keep playing guitar, then I have to do things that are going to pay the income, or I should say make me income and pay bills, so I don't have to like physically work. Because although teaching's not hard, it's still a lot of work, like mentally, it's a lot of work.
Mentally, yeah, draining can be.
And physically too. You're playing all day, so I get shoulder injuries sometimes, and like tennis elbow, and all these other things that happen. And I'm trying to look out for myself and be like, how can I set myself up to where when I'm 40, which is in 10 years, can I retire and still have these things run and make money, so I don't ever have to worry about that. So there's a little bit of an entrepreneurship there, and I've really actually gotten into really helping other people do that as well, and not just with guitar lessons, but with their own skills. Try to make something for themselves.
That sounds good. I think it's everything that several people are working towards that I know, especially in the music industry. Just future-proofing things.
Future-proofing is a good word, because a lot of guys, and I know them, a lot of guys personally and stuff, where they just wish they would have started that when they were younger, and then they I don't know if they thought maybe the record sales would keep coming in forever, or if, whatever was going to happen. But it's like, I don't want to be stuck when I'm 50 or 60 and still have nothing to like build off of, So that's where I'm at.
I think as a musician, it's also very crucial to kind of, have that business mentality and be switched on enough to kind of figure out that you, like you just said, you have like physical abilities, but they are limited, especially if you get older. So, at some point you can't tour and play 2 months or be 2 months on the road, or you just don't want it. So you need also a passive income, and you need like a, some sort of substance, and building up that substance, building up that business model is something a lot of musicians unfortunately fail, and then they end up in a everyday 9-to-5 job and are frustrated, although they have the chops. But I think, Andy, we talked about that the other day, that as a musician, having musicianship, artistry, and being able to play the guitar is just like 50%, but being switched on and really nailing the business side of things is the other part, because not necessarily like the greatest guitar players are the most famous. It's most often the ones that can promote themselves the best, that make the right decisions at the right time. And
Correct.
yeah.
And for me, it's just I don't want to rely on other people to get me somewhere. This is not how I am.
Yeah.
So,
But if I may ask one question, you just told us about that steep increase of students. If you had a tip for aspiring guitar instructors that might want to found a school, and I think now is a good timing because we are in some sort of crisis, but still, as a entrepreneur, sometimes it's good timing wise to kind of start something off in some sort of a crisis or economic question mark. So do you have any tips for aspiring entrepreneurs that want to have a music school, or how did you kind of grow your business? I mean, I know there's no secret recipe, but how did you do that?
probably one of my favorite quotes, as far as with what you had said, was "Never waste a good recession." Right?
Yeah.
When things are down, that's when you triple down on what it is that you need to do. If you,
Okay.
I mean, anybody can sell something when the market is really good and everybody has a little bit of extra money to spend,
Yeah.
but it's when can you really bring that much value and people still see that it's valuable when they aren't quite sure about what's going to happen. You know what I mean? You have to have hope. People have to have hope in you or what it is that you're selling. And as far as like with music lessons go, if somebody wanted to start, the first thing, and actually I'm helping one of my buddies with this right now. The first thing that you have to do is you have to establish to yourself that you are not happy with the situation that you're in, right? And this isn't just guitar lessons. This could be anything. Let's say you're a freaking like shoemaker. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you're doing, you have to establish that where you're at isn't making you happy, right? Because if you don't love what you're doing, and sometimes you got to do things you hate, like that's not all of it, but I mean, if you don't love what you're doing, then the stuff that you hate to do sucks 10 times worse, like I don't like cleaning bathrooms.
Amen.
I don't like cleaning bathrooms, but I've got 2 bathrooms here and I want it to be perfect for my parents that come in here with their kids. I don't want there to be, to be disgusting. I'll go in there and clean the bathroom. Or if I don't have time, I hopefully will have enough money to pay somebody to do it for me. And I guess the first thing that you would want to do is make yourself a website, not a Facebook page. Yes, those Facebook pages are great, but if you make yourself a website, there's a certain amount of credibility that comes with having a website that's really well designed, that looks really great, but make it super easy for people to get in contact with you, have videos up, have a bio up. So that's all in one place, not a Facebook page, because Facebook can be kind of scammy sometimes, You go to the website, you make a contact form, and then you either outsource it or learn how to do some easy Facebook, YouTube, Google ads. I learned how to do all that stuff on YouTube. It wasn't that bad. I didn't pay for any courses. I didn't pay for anything, and then start learning about who you're looking for. You're not looking for people who want to learn guitar. You're looking for parents of kids that want to learn guitar. That's your demographic. People try to go out and they try to go, look at all these guitar players out here. Look at all these people that I could get. But guess what? Most guitar players who are pretty good, they don't want to take lessons from some random person. They want to take lessons from guys like John Petrucci and Joe Satriani, and they'll pay the money to do it.
Of course, yeah.
And like Tony McAlpine, he makes money, or at least when he was touring, he makes money because he does lessons for people too. So he kind of does it on the side. And I would pay to have that experience.
Of course, yeah.
But most people, they're not going to spend $100 a month on somebody who's just as good as them. So then you start targeting these people that have kids, that have, I guess people that want to actually learn the instrument. And even if you're not the greatest guitar player in the world, you can still teach beginner to intermediate. That's fine. You start driving people to your website. You start driving them and you start making videos all the time. You start making content. You get them in the door. Then you get them to lock into, say, a monthly reoccurring thing. It's like, hey, every month you pay me X amount of money. And then you can look at it and say, my bills are X. I'm making this much from 10 students. That pays my bills. So if I have 20, I pay my bills times 2. and I'm happy. That in and of itself is a million times more constructive than going and getting a job to me. You know?
I couldn't agree more. As a
So,
self-employed person
yeah.
that's been through, I don't know, so many jobs that I've hated. Even when I hate my day at my self-employed job of doing this, it's so much better than those days where I was under someone else's control. And
You're exactly
I'm
right.
going to take some of the advice you've just given. I'm going to take some of that to heart, and it's nice to know that some of what you've just described I'm currently doing, have done, or I'm in the process of implementing that.
The next
So
step
that's good
too,
advice.
well, and then the next step would be, okay, there's going to be things you don't know how to do, right? Like, I don't know how to play drums, but there's a lot of people when they bring their kids for guitar, they're like, well, my other kid wants to learn drums, or my other kid wants to learn piano. I'm not going to go and learn how to play piano. I'm going to find somebody who's already dedicated their life to it, and then offer them, like with these guys, hey, you're going to make X amount a month. You pay me 25% of it, or 20%, whatever you decide between them. And then now they're teaching, 50 students, and then 50 students. You got 100 people. You're making, let's say, $1,400 a month, and you make 20% of that. So you're making free income from other people, and they're happy because they're getting out of working too, because most musicians don't want to work for jobs. And they're making money, they're happy, they're doing what they love, and then you're making a small commission with that. Then you take that times, we've got 20 teachers or something like that. So like my income, I actually make the least amount of money from teaching now.
Okay.
My own teaching. I make the least amount from it, and it's the most labor intensive. But I love it because I've grown with a lot of these guys and, some of my students for 4 years now. They're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But they do know that it's like, okay, Zach's got a lot going on, so I'm going to make sure I show up on time. I'm going to make sure that my shit is done, and that way, I don't show up and get my time wasted and vice versa, and then you start building off of that. You scale it out. Now, music lessons are a little different, but I'm still trying to get onto the online thing, start doing online courses and start doing that. I make a few $100 a month on my book, and, that's fine. But if I could get this online to do like a reoccurring monthly subscription, that would be really great. So, but I get really jacked up about business because it's something that it's just a big puzzle, and there's always something different, and there's always there's a pandemic that happens, and then there's a recession that happens, and then there's whatever, but as long as you go into it knowing that those things are there, and you prepare for the really kind of down times, and in those down times, that's when you push to be, like I said, in the middle of a pandemic, I signed a 5-year lease at a building when the guy was like, "You're crazy." I know.
I love the statement you made. Never waste a good recession. That's definitely going to be printed out tomorrow and hang right on the wall in the office. And actually, I love how enthusiastic you are about the business side of things, because it actually shows you that, you have understand that it's a requirement, but it's also not something that has to be, something that kind of drags you down, or is something that's just considered a necessity or something, I have to do it. But if you do it in a right, and if you have some sort of natural interest in kind of trying out things and kind of figuring out things, like you just mentioned, the social media advertisements, stuff like this, I think this can be fun too, if you puzzle the pieces together, and then all of a sudden it turns out to be a beautiful image or beautiful picture. It's just, I think this is like part of the game. There's never that route where you know exactly how to go from A to Z, but you have to figure out those kind of segments and A, B, C, D, E, F, G until you come to your goal. And thanks for sharing all that. That was very inspirational.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just something that everybody has the ability to do it. It's really just, are you going to get through the because there's a lot of fear, and it's scary to put yourself out there, not just in a video, but all, like you guys doing this podcast. I mean, it's scary to turn that camera on and be like, all right, it's go time. And you could mess up, and then somebody makes fun of you, and then you have to deal with that internalism of that. And then, but then you go even further by saying, I invested in our new business, the one in the outside of the city, we dropped $40,000 to open that store. USD, and it's like $40,000, and that was to build rooms and to advertise and to get. We bought real pianos and we had them moved there. I mean, it was everything, you know, and we wanted it to be perfect. So we spent 40 grand, and that's scary because we had 0 students when I dropped $40,000. So we couldn't fuck up. You know what I mean? There was no messing up. It was go time. So my wife and I, we went door to door business wise. Hey, we're opening a shop. Hey, we're opening a shop. We're doing music lessons. We spent a countless amount of money on Facebook ads and Google ads. And, you know, I even bought a billboard, everything I could do.
Wow.
You know, but I had the capital to do it now, because after 5 years of pushing and, you know, grinding on like, oh, I only have $100 to spend on ads this month, you know, so then you scale. And as you scale, you know, you spend 500, you make 1,000, you spend 1,000, you make 2,000. You just keep going. It's not as simple as that, but that's how it works. And, you know, now from March till now, we're at 200 students at $150 a pop. You subtract everything. I mean, we're making probably 10 grand a month cash flow. So we'll pay back that in 4 months. And then the rest of the rest of the year is back to normal. So, and now you have like a cash flowing business.
Yeah. That's amazing.
What I really enjoy about the way I'm loving hearing your passion, but also the fact that it's coming from a place of teaching music. None of what you're saying sounds like a hard sell. It's not like, you know, forgive the car salesman because you were one, but it's not as if you're trying to get someone to buy a car they don't need.
Yeah.
You are selling someone the knowledge of being able to play a musical instrument, and there's so much value in learning to play an instrument, more so, I'm sure you know this, than just the instrument itself. You know, the social aspects, the other brain skills you learn, everything, the discipline, the reward, and to hear you talking about that business so strongly, but it's coming from music, is very, very refreshing, and yeah, it's nice to hear.
I think we have to be humble about it too, though, because, and I tell all the guys and girls this that teach for me, is music lessons are a luxury for people. Okay, it is not a house payment, a car payment, a grocery bill. It's something that when shit hits the fan, we're the first thing to go, and that is always a fact, and it will always be that way. So, in fact, if you look at it like they don't want it, how are you going to sell it to them? Or they do want it, but maybe they can't afford it. Well, then there's times where you have to bite the bullet and give somebody a 50% off to keep them here because they're struggling, or give them $0, you know, I mean, and there's just all these different things that can come from it. But at the end of the day, as long as you humble yourself and say, you know, they want this, they don't need this. So how can we make the want better than what they need, right? So meaning when they come here, are the bathrooms absolutely perfect? Is the carpet always vacuumed? Does it smell nice? Like, there's so many things that you have to make perfect, because the second they walk in here and it smells weird, or the bathrooms are gross, or the rooms aren't clean, or the outside looks like trash because somebody's throwing cigarettes around and there's trash and homeless people and all these things, it's like they're not going to want to stay, because they'll justify it really quickly why they don't want to spend that money. So for me, we really push, like at our other school, I've got a pinball machine, I've got Mrs. Pac-Man, like actual arcade games that I bought.
Wow.
We've got a TV there. They can play games. The kids can play video games. We've got coloring books. I mean, everything you can think of. And we actually bought real pianos, like not, you know, keyboards with weighted keys. They're real pianos. They really have to be played correctly in order to hear it, and the parents appreciate it. And when they come in, and we actually bought like these big life-size cutouts of like Eddie Van Halen and Slash and David Bowie, and they're all over, and there's records. We bought like probably 1,000 small little records and big records, and we hung them all up on the wall. So it, like, when you go there, it looks sweet. You know, it looks like, oh my God, these guys really went above and beyond. So that's what you got to do. If you're going to do it, if you're going to get up off this freaking couch and do something, you better do it fucking great. Same thing when you're playing your instrument. If you're going to go and play a show, look at Kiss, for example. Okay, Kiss is my favorite band. If you could see in my room, which you can't, every wall is filled with Kiss stuff. And they had that mentality. If we're going to do a show, I'm not going to show up in jeans and a t-shirt. I'm going to show up and we're going to give them a show. You don't need to spend $300 on a Kiss ticket, but you're fucking gonna, because their show rules.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
fully agree.
And they didn't do it out of selfishness. They did it because they wanted people to have the best experience possible. And that's, if you live by that rule, then anything you do is justifiable, especially in business. I put a billboard right next to another music school. You think I give a shit? No. And you know why? Because I love those guys. They're amazing. I love everybody who works there. I love all the teachers. But I'm going to put a billboard right next to your school that says, don't drive this far for lessons anymore.
Oh wow! Is that like the weak spot that they're in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, because the people out of town drive into town to go there because it's the closest, but it's still pretty far. But where I'm at, it's like, don't drive this far. And that's all my billboard said. Don't drive this far. Come here. And I don't care because, and like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Grant Cardone.
No.
You ever heard of him?
No,
Look
no.
up Grant Cardone. He's a business guy. But he said, always be ethical, but never play fair, right? Meaning it's ethical to put up a billboard because they could put up a billboard right here. I'm not going to stop them. Put up a billboard right by my shit. I don't care. They'll make me get 2 billboards. I'll buy a billboard that's blank with my face on it if I have to. I don't care, right? I get super jacked up about it, dude. And they were, and of course I know all of them and they know exactly how I am, but they were like, damn it, he put a billboard right by us. I'm like, it's ethical.
Yeah.
Right?
They could have done it themselves, right?
Yeah, I ain't gonna stop them.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna play fair.
It's healthy competition, and then everybody
Makes them
benefits.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because then they're gonna go, you know what? What are they doing? Do they have pinball? Nope. I have pinball. Do you have Miss Pac-Man? Nope. I have Miss Pac-Man.
Sweet. I love it.
Why would you go to a show? Like, are you going to go to a Kiss show or are you going to go to, like, you know, some local band? You'll probably pick Kiss, not because of their legacy, but because it's going to be a better show.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Or it's not fair, but it's ethical.
Yeah. You gotta excuse me for that question, but you've mentioned Kiss a lot of times, and also that you're playing in a System of a Down band, Chop Suey.
Tribute band, yeah.
Tribute band. Have you ever played in an Iceman, like the Darren Malakian Signature or the Paul Stanley?
My Paul Stanley and my Spalted Maple.
Whoa, that's a nice one. What kind of model is that?
It says 4L15, so
All right.
Spalted Maple. It's really cool.
Sweet.
I got that.
Sweet.
I don't remember where I got that. I think I got a Reverb or something. And this is
Sweet.
the Paul Stanley Signature.
Yeah, that's a current one, still in
Like
production.
glittery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. This is
That's
the
a good
cheap one because this is when he smashes on stage. He doesn't
Yeah.
smash his $6,000 ones.
Yeah.
This one's super cool. My wife bought me that as a gift.
Sweet.
And those are the only 2 Icemen I have right now. That's pretty much all I got here. I don't keep all my guitars here, but I've got an SG that I use for the System of a Down band too.
Cool.
So that way, you know, I can kind of bounce between the 2. But yeah, I mean, I wish I could show you my room, but I kind of can't the way my camera sits. But I've got like the Kiss fountain where he like spits blood out of his mouth, and I got Kiss Cola and Kiss Dr. Pepper and a bunch of stuff. I got a Kiss phone. Kiss phone is cool.
It's a big fan. Do you have any more like instruments that are, you know, have a good story or you have a special relationship to, apart from the Icemans obviously and for instance the 30th anniversary RG that you won?
So this one here, it's just a Les Paul Epiphone.
Okay.
The reason this one's special is because when I was in high school, my best friend died in a car accident, and this was his guitar. Oh. And it was a really brutal day, and his dad wanted me to have his guitar, so I've kept it pretty much ever since high school, and it's got his football numbers on the back as well. It's kind of worn out here, but you know that this one's really important to me. You know, even though it's, you know, I mean, you could get one for $200 on, you know, Guitar Center. It's not about that. You know, it's just a really cool, and actually it freaking sounds killer from like when I do recordings with it. It's just heavy. The pickups just worked, I guess. I don't know. The only other one that his dad bought me as well. Hang on, let me take my headset off.
He's gone to get something.
I think so, yeah.
I love a little bit of dead air with some suspense.
Sorry.
No,
So
it's
his
good.
dad
It's
bought
good
me
dead
this
air.
double neck SG.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
wow.
This is his bandana. So my friend's bandana. And it's
Sweet.
really dusty because I never touch it. It weighs like 1,000,000 pounds, but
Uh-huh.
it just looks cool. And it's got like all these
Sweet.
skulls on it and stuff.
Yeah.
But he was going to buy him a drum set. His dad was going to buy him a drum set, and he had the money saved up for it and everything. And then when he died, his dad bought me this just as a, memento. So really cool. Those are the two that I have from that. Those are probably the most that are, I guess, special,
Sweet. Sweet.
So.
All right.
Oh, dude,
Thanks
thank
for
you so much for
yeah.
the stories and the advice and the passion and the fire underneath us now. That's that's a great. This is our last episode in this season of the show. We take a little summer break, and
Well,
I
thanks
think
for
that was
the invite.
Yeah, I mean, thank you.
Well,
When
you
is
guys
the-
can always hit me up too. You got my email and add me on Facebook, whatever. And if you need any advice or anything, let me know.
Sure. Thanks.
Guitar
The
as well.
the occasional kick up the ass would be quite nice.
I'm good at
Yeah,
that.
it's unfortunate we don't live in the States. I mean, I just had just to make that very short anecdote. I had an artist come over here and had a face-to-face lesson last week during the lunch break, and I kind of figured out how cool it is to actually not learn from YouTube or learn from via internet and have someone sitting next to you, pointing at things and kind of even holding your hand for a second, literally. That's pretty rad. So yeah, when is the new book coming out? Do you already have a rough release date for the beginner's book?
I mean, it could pretty much come out anytime. We just want to double check it all, make sure that we fixed any spelling mistakes, and then it'll probably come out in the next few weeks.
All right.
And then I guess really quick, if I could plug my album.
Oh yeah.
I am releasing that, and the set date is October 15th, because that is the day that Joe Satriani released "Surfing with the Aliens" in 1987. So it'd be like 35 years later.
All right.
That's the goal, but I do have some potential things that are in the mix that could be really good. That'll push that to a different date, but I can't talk about it. So.
All right, cool. Well, if you can share any details, just make sure to hit us up so maybe we can share it on channel as well, or
Yep,
maybe
it's
do
called,
some sort of.
It's called "The Future Isn't What It Used to Be."
Ooh.
So a lot of really great songs on there, and it's gonna be heavy.
All right. Sounds good.
So yeah, I guess that's
Zachary,
all I
thank
have.
you, man. Thanks for your time. Good luck with the release. Good luck with the schools. Good luck with putting up more billboards. I'm going to take what you said and I'm going to run with it. So
Sounds
Dan,
great.
could you ask everybody to leave us a 5-star review, please?
Absolutely. Thanks everyone for being part of season number 3 of the Guitar Stars podcast. If you enjoyed that, make sure to leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes or on Spotify. So we can come back for season 4 and have epic guests like Zachary or Aidan and all the precious human beings we had on this season. Yeah, thanks for joining us, being part of season 3. Thanks, Zach, for being here tonight. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Thanks to the moderators. Thanks to the guy you didn't mention the name who's doing the time codes. Andy, I don't know who it is.
Admiral, hello, Admiral. You're
All
doing the time codes for us.
Admiral, great job. Thanks so much. And yeah, see you in season 4, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Guitar Stories Podcast, your #1 show for everything